When her TikTok performances broke through with millions of views, singer-songwriter Andi Mitchell became a voice for a generation, turning personal heartbreak into pop anthems. On this episode of The Significance, Andi opens up about how embracing her vulnerability became the key to her artistry and allowed her to step fully into her truth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. The Significance with Tyler and Signy starts now. Today on The Significance, we're joined by an artist who's not just writing songs. She's rewriting the rules about what young women are allowed to say out loud. Andi Mitchell isn't here to be palatable. She's here to be honest, with a voice that breaks hearts and lyrics that cut through the noise. Andi has built a loyal following by doing what most people are terrified to do, to tell the truth. At just 16, she left her hometown in New Jersey and moved to Los Angeles with nothing but a dream and willingness to risk everything. Now with over 1.3 million fans on TikTok and a global audience hanging on her every word, Andi is turning late-night voice memos into anthems for a generation craving something real. She's bold, she's vulnerable, and she is just getting started. Andi, welcome to The Significance.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So you describe yourself as someone who sings about what people are afraid to say. So when did you realize that your voice had that kind of power?
I don't think it necessarily was a moment where I realized that I had that power. I think that's just always kind of been who I am, rather. I've always been kind of very outspoken and like shameless in terms of like my feelings and just like who I am as a person. And I think my music started actually like doing well and reaching other people once I like showed that part of myself in my music.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it was necessarily like a moment where I realized like this is, something that will make people like my music. It was just kind of like once I tapped into myself and my music rather than just writing, what I thought other people would like.
Telling your truth, which is wonderful.
Yeah, just being like shameless and kind of understanding that everyone's also going through the same things. They're just nervous to say it. Yeah, it's really fun. Recently I've been having a lot of fun with just like writing songs and being like really, really honest in them about, my love life, like the embarrassment and just like everything that kind of happens. And those songs have been connecting. So it's been really fun.
And leaving high school early to move to LA at 16, that's a very bold move. What pushed you to make that leap and what did it cost you?
So I went to visit an old friend of mine when I was 15 in California. Mm-hmm. And she was also doing music at the time. And like, I've always loved music. I grew up writing songs and doing musical theater. And then so when I went to visit her and saw that she was actually like pursuing this dream and it was like a thing that anyone could do, I kind of was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. And then I came home and told my parents and they were like, all right, you got to do it. You got to start now. It's better to start as soon as possible,
Absolutely.
Get the ball rolling. And then, my parents are really supportive, which I'm really, really, really lucky for. I know a lot of people don't have that. What it cost me, I don't know, like some may say, sure, I didn't get my normal high school experience of like graduating and everything, and I didn't go to college. But like when I moved here, I had some friends that, went to USC and I would always hang out with them and UCLA. And I got a different experience of growing up. I definitely think that I felt slightly disconnected from a lot of my friends for a few years in the sense of I was, out here at 18 being completely independent in literally every way possible. And, my friends were just leaving their homes for the first time going to college. And it wasn't like it affected my relationships negatively. It was just kind of like I felt like that part of my brain woke up a little bit earlier just because it had to. My friends weren't thinking about paying the rent and dealing with money and jobs, like adult life. But yeah, for a while I felt like I was still 16. But recently is the first time I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm in my 20s. Like this is actively, my youth, and like it's been really fun. I feel like this is the best part of my life so far. And because
Awesome.
it's been really
That's
fun.
wonderful. You're so young. You're so young. And it's amazing because look how far you've come in that amount of time, Andy, by just having that just the courage to do what you've done.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm very lucky that I had parents that believe in me, because if I didn't have that, obviously I would not be able to
of course
be here, or would have been a lot harder. Like my circumstances made it a lot easier to pursue my dream. But yeah, I got lucky. It's it's luck, because there's so many talented people.
Luck and hard work, Andy. You're a hard worker. And you're very consistent with what you do. So
And so you spent your early years performing in local playhouses and attended Stage Door Manor. So how did that experience shape your sense of artistry?
I mean, I learned how to songwrite at Stage Door, or at least I started like truly songwriting when I was there. I took a class with the instructor. His name was John, and after we did like a showcase during camp where everyone would like present the songs that they're writing. And when my parents came for show weekends, everyone comes for like 3 days, and we do our shows every day, twice a day. And when they were there for parents' weekends, he pulled my mom to the side and was like, she's got a gift. She's really good at this. Like, you should like encourage her to pursue this. And my mom has even said, like, if he didn't say that, she wouldn't have necessarily realized that this is something I could actually, be good at and do. But that kind of opened my eyes to songwriting, and also having fun with it. Like, one of my first songs I ever performed in front of people was like a very cheeky, silly song that I actually still like think about quite often, because it was honestly great for like a 10-year-old. Like it was really funny. But it also, what was that?
What's the name of the song?
A Deer in the Headlights. And then there's another one called Reasons You're My Ex. And it's just really funny because I think I was like 12 when I wrote Reasons You're My Ex. I never had an ex-boyfriend.
I love it. I love it.
But I've always been very, hopeless romantic and loved all the rom-coms. So I took a lot of inspo from that. But yeah, I mean, the first time I ever performed a song of mine in front of people, it was in front of my entire camp. There were a lot of people at this camp. And I was 10 years old, and I was wearing a little dress. And this might be TMI, but, I was like, oh, I'm a girl. I'm going to wear like sticky boobs. They just like stick on. I was 10 years old. There was nothing to be sticking onto. But as I'm singing my song in front of the whole camp, my sticky boob fell off on the stage.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just like laying there on the stage for the rest of the song. So that, started my lack of shame on stage, at least, going through therapy. But yeah, that camp did a lot for me. All of my friends here, for the most part, I kind of know because of that camp. The first person I came to visit here, she went to Stage Door. And then my current roommate, Ashley, and she's one of my best friends, and same with my best friend Zoe, they both also went to that camp. Zoe I actually met my first year when we were 10, and she's now my tour manager. And
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's awesome.
Actually, I didn't know during camp, but she's also like my best friend, and we live together, and she's a huge part of my life. So if I didn't go to that camp, I don't know if I would be here in LA, at least. Yeah, it's a great place. It was magical.
So, what was the first song that you ever wrote that really genuinely felt like you?
That's hard to answer, because what feels like me now versus what felt like me when I was, 17 writing are very different. But honestly, probably the first song I put out was one that, no, I think Reasons to Stay. That was like the first song I was like, oh my God, this is me. Like, I love this song. Like, this is a song I've always wanted to write. Because, like, as a musician, at least, when I'm listening to music, I'm like, damn it, like, I wish I wrote that. Like, I wish that was my song. And, like, listening to Ariana Grande a lot during that period of my life, like, she was the person I was always like, dang it, like, I wish I did that. I wish I wrote that. And then so when I wrote Reasons to Stay, that was one of the first times I worked with Adam Bukas, who is like one of my go-to producers. We do a lot of my songs together. And that song like really clicked, and that was kind of the one where I was like, okay, like this guy like gets my vision and like understands what I'm hearing in my head, which it's hard to come by. They're amazing producers, and I've worked with people that are, you know, like really, really well known and successful and have great cuts, but you have to like connect with them. They have to understand what your vision is. Yeah.
There has to be
Absolutely.
that connection.
Yeah.
It has to be on a sort of on a much deeper level than just whatever your job title is. So
in those early days in LA, did anything, you know, test your commitment to this path? Did you ever question when you made the move?
No, I actually had the least amount of doubt and questioning too, as if this was what I wanted to do in the beginning. Like the more I'm doing it and the more I'm getting exposed to, you know, like the great things, is the more I'm like, oh gosh, like this is so much harder, which you would think it'd be the other way around. But no, I was the most confident and the most like, not hopeful is the wrong word, but like I really like believed in myself in the beginning, because you know in the beginning you can only go up. And yeah.
So let's talk about your debut single, Everyone's the Same. How did that project come together, and what did you learn from putting it out?
That song, I wrote that song. That was like, I was gonna say that song is the first song that felt like me, but I don't necessarily think so. I think that was just one of the first songs I wrote where I was like, wait, this is like a full like pop song. Like I love this. But that one I wrote because I had been like dating this other musician at the time, and you know, he's just like kind of an asshole, and was like bailing on me, and just like not, you know, being a typical musician. I don't date musicians anymore, but he had.
I feel your pain.
Yeah, he bailed on a date of ours, and I was just walking around my neighborhood. I used to live in Studio City, and I wrote that song on my walk. I actually, during that period of my life, I wrote a lot of songs on walks, which was really random. And then once I moved here to the current place I live in, in the beginning of living here, I wrote a lot of songs in the shower. And then I had like a car phase. It changes. But yeah, that song kind of came just when I was on my walk. It was the morning after I had been canceled on. And I don't know, it just kind of came out of me. It's in the beginning, I wasn't doing as many sessions or working with as many people because obviously I was new and didn't know anyone yet. So I would only really write songs when they kind of just like naturally came out of me, rather than, you know, now I'm doing like 5 sessions a week and, you know, really like training that muscle. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. It depends on what's going on in my life. But yeah, there was a lot going on in my life at the time that inspired what I was writing about. And I truly was just writing about like my life. And yeah, so that was the first time we like rented a studio, and I had my friends come in. They did like the background vocals with me because there was like chanting parts and stuff, and it was really fun. It was a very like magical experience. It's not necessarily like that anymore. Now it's a little bit more personal in terms of like my recording process, because you know I'm just kind of doing it at like the home studios of my producers. I don't ever really rent studios because it's not really the normal in terms of how you go about it, but.
So you write a lot about, obviously, emotional honesty, right? So is there a lyric or song that you hesitated to release, but you knew you had to? It was absolutely necessary.
I think One Man Show was one that when I was writing it, I was like, ugh, this is scary. Because, like, you know, I'm very open and honest, but when it comes to, like, me ever, like, being upset or, like, sad or struggling, I don't really like to, like, talk to people about it, which is ironic considering I release songs about my emotions.
Right.
But, like, yeah, I am not, I mean, I'm very lucky. I don't, at least recently, like, I've been really, really happy and haven't really related to that song, which has been awesome. But there was a period of time where I was just like really, really having a rough time. And I wrote that one at like 2 a.m. I had just had this big like Christmas cocktail party with all of my musician friends, and all my friends were here. And I like, after everyone left, I just like was hysterically crying in my room, and I had no idea why. And I just started writing that song. And then the next day I had a writing session with my friend Sophie Abrams, who, yeah, we were just like sitting on our living room floor writing it. And once I recorded it, I was like, no, like I love the song, I have to put it out. like so many people are gonna benefit from the song, I hope. But when I was writing it, I was, you know, kind of scared in the moment of me being, you know, a little bit distraught. But once it was written, it was like, it was just like, yeah, I have to release it because I love the song so much and it is so deep. Also, what's another? I mean, I have some unreleased songs that I've written that are just like way too honest that I don't think I'll ever release because they're also like about people in my life. And
so there's a line. There is a line where you're like, okay, I'm not crossing this one. Okay.
Yeah, example, this is not the thing, but let's say it's like my best friend's brother. This is not the situation, but if, let's say, I had a crush on my best friend's brother, I have a song, again, this is not the name of the song, but it's like best friend's brother, and it's like a song about a person, and like if they were to hear it, they would know exactly what it's about.
There'd be no question who you're writing about.
Yeah, and like this person's still very much in my life, and
there's no mystery, right?
Yeah, I couldn't. I'm still in that situation, so I can't put that out yet. But maybe if
a couple years,
one day,
you never know. And by the way, what's going to happen, Andy, is that you're gonna get that stigma like Taylor Swift. Be careful, you know, having a relationship with her because she's gonna write a song about you.
Yeah,
you know what's gonna happen. Yeah, but I think the thing is, now we all want to hear those songs because your brutal honesty is so refreshing. It's like you just lay it out there. You tell it like it is. You put your truth right out there. And I'm a big fan of your music. I love your music.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So as you grow, how do you define artistic integrity? Is it through your truth?
Yeah, I think it changes because like my inspiration comes from so many different places.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you feel that your inspiration is stimulated in a greater way when you're going through a painful, difficult, there's more drama in your life? Because there's a different perspective, right? Totally different perspective of when everything's just going your way.
I will literally like make it an effort to, you know, go out on the weekends and try to just experience life so I have things to write about because I personally have a hard time writing about things that aren't based off of my life and my experiences just because, I don't know, it just kind of feels inauthentic and like not really like honest if it's not something I've experienced or I know about. So yeah, I'll make an effort to try to experience more life at some periods of time. Because, you know, there were like 2 years where all I was doing was making videos, going to sessions, and then I was staying in and working all the time. And while that definitely was like a period of awesome growth for me in terms of like my career, I was also miserable. And then got to a point where I was like, I have nothing to write about. Like, I'm not doing anything. I've written about all I can write about. Like, there's nothing going on. And that's how I started, you know, just like getting out of the house more and, you know, just experiencing more. So yeah, I definitely think that for me, if there's nothing going on in my life, it's a little bit harder.
Feels a little stagnant. All right.
Yeah.
And it's also going to be, you know, it's a blessing and a curse. I would say much more of a blessing to have parents who are so loving and supportive and a family that is so unified and so behind you that you don't even have that internal family struggle stuff going on. Because you're so loved.
Yeah, it's really funny. I'll find myself being like, dang it, like my life's so great. I don't have anything to write about. Like, what a silly...
What the blank?
Yeah, it's really funny.
Well, it's always easy to find a fucked up relationship, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's easy to do.
That's where a lot of my songs come from because, again, I've been lucky enough to grow up with such a loving, awesome family, and I have such great friends. Like, I haven't really experienced... I've had like one friend break up in my life, but that's kind of about it. Like, I've had the same friends since I was in kindergarten. And then my friends here have been my friends for years now. And like, I know they're not going anywhere unless, God forbid, something crazy happens and their character completely changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one place in my life that most of my pain and drama and inspiration comes from is in dating.
No,
Yeah,
welcome to life.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
know. I don't have the best taste either. God.
Oh my God.
Well, you're young, and you know the maturity that you're experiencing through your touring, traveling, Europe, all these places that you're going, and these amazing people that you're meeting. You know, I'd say you're way ahead of the curve. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Lots of life experience
LA
to
is
come.
also the worst place to be. It's hard out here.
So the TikTok momentum, when did that really take off, and how do you think it shifted your career?
I mean, I think it's the reason I have like such a fan base is because of TikTok. And in 2021 was when my videos started going viral. And yeah, ever since then, it's just kind of been like keeping up with it. And, you know, algorithms change. I think TikTok is still important in terms of the music industry, but there's recently been a shift a little bit. I think that it's much more craft focused rather than just virality. And like I wasn't trying to make viral videos when it happened. I was just like posting my songs, and then they happened to go viral. Because I was already making music prior to that. So yeah, it kind of kickstarted everything.
You're involved with your fans in creative decisions, like choosing cover art for your singles and even contributing to lyrics, which I think is amazing. Is this your way of building a deeper sense of community with your fans?
When that started, it wasn't necessarily a thought. It was just kind of like, oh, I have this group of people that, you know, support me and I don't feel judged by, and I can, you know, present my songs to and my ideas. And like in the beginning of my music, I was always kind of nervous to show my friends just because, I don't know, it's like just more scary showing people that I'm really close to. And so it just felt like a very like judgment-free zone. And I would go live a lot when I first started. And so like I would have my fans come on live and we would just like talk and hang out, and like I would write sometimes and they would be like, oh, we like this or we like that. And it's honestly really helpful to have, you know, another person's perspective, or, you know, 100 other people's perspectives. And like some of my favorite songs I've written while online, like some of my best performing songs as well, which is like so random and funny, but yeah.
So do you ever feel torn between sharing or preserving your private life? Like, how do you balance that?
I tend to just kind of spill to people, even if I'm just meeting them. So that kind of also comes out online. There's definitely like I'm not telling all the stories of my life on the internet just because, you know, but oh my God, there's so many stories I could tell. But yeah, I don't share everything. But for the most part, like my songs kind of are my life and explain what's going on in my life actively.
You gotta say something for the book you're gonna write one day, right? You can't give all your stories away.
Yeah. So, oh my God,
and you know,
crazy.
The thought came to mind for me because you are so open and honest, and you said you never had a friend break up that. You must be like the therapist of the group because you're so honest. No, you're so honest and forthcoming that your friends come to you because they know they're gonna get the truth from you. My daughter Isabella is the same way. That's her friends come to her because she's like, girl, I'm going to tell you what's going on here. And she's very insightful.
That's the secret in friendships, I think. It's just like honesty and
absolutely
being truthful. Yeah.
You're not serving someone if you're not telling them what your truth is because you're standing outside of their experience and you're seeing it from a very objective view. So,
yeah, 100%.
But you recently wrapped your European Dumb Blonde tour. I love that you told everybody that you're not a real blonde. I'm like, I would have never known. That's for sure. How did touring? Oh, you're gorgeous. How did touring change you both as a performer and a person?
I think it really opened. Well, I mean, obviously the experience like of being on stage so much, you just get more comfortable with it and kind of figure out what your little things are. And the best way to interact with your audience personally. You know, everyone has a different way of being on stage. I find that without even trying, I end up making a lot of jokes on stage and kind of sometimes going on little like rants, and I can talk a little bit too much. But yeah, when it comes to my performing, it definitely just, you get more comfortable with it. It's like a muscle. The more you do it, the more you train it, the stronger it gets. But then in terms of as a person, I think touring just like really I don't know. It's hard to process ever that like anyone actually like listens to your music or like cares like or are fans of you. And like with everything being online, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, like sure, like I have fans, but like it's just I don't know, it just kind of feels like people I interact with online that I'm friends with. Like it's not doesn't feel like this like I don't know, like power dynamic that I feel like when I'm a fan of someone I feel. So then going on tour and actually like seeing these people that are, you know, supporting me in person just kind of I don't know, for me makes the connection to my fans feel a lot stronger and I feel it feels much more intimate. Yeah, and I get to actually like, you know, like hug these people and see their faces and talk to them and it's just I don't know, it's really surreal and awesome and touring is like my favorite thing ever. I love doing it because of that reason and just like the human connection. I'm a very social person and I really get a lot of my energy from other people. Like it just energizes me. So I think that I don't know, it really just fulfills a part of me that I didn't realize was there. But yeah, I love touring.
I actually had the opportunity years ago to see you in concert, and your fans loved. I mean, the energy that was in the room of your fans responding to you interacting with them, and as you put them, your rants, whatever. It was like you were. It just filled you up. It was so positive, and you were just amazing. And you have an incredible fan base. They love you. There's no question about it.
So your songs often start from everyday chaos, like Crazy Your Best Friend and a hair appointment. So do you say that you find more songs in the quiet or the chaos?
It really depends on when it, you know, when the songs kind of like happen or when I'm thinking about them. Like, yeah, Crazy Your Best Friend, I wrote that while I was getting my hair done in Jersey. But then there's a song called Convince Myself that I wrote while driving home from being down the shore in New Jersey after an experience with a guy that, you know, made me a little bit sad. And now I was writing just like alone on my drive. It was really quiet. And then, you know, like a couple days ago, I wrote a song at the treadmill at the gym. But then there's times where, you know, I'm just in my room playing on piano and writing, or if I'm at a party and I'm like, oh my God, an idea. It really varies. It changes. Yeah.
What emotional themes keep resurfacing in your writing, and why do you think those particular feelings haunt or inspire you?
I don't know if this is necessarily a feeling, but it's kind of a recurring theme of never fully being in like that relationship that, you know, people crave and that, you know, you see in the movies and stuff. It's just kind of like the reoccurring, like almost having it, but not quite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that definitely, I mean, so many of my songs are about that because that is a situation I keep finding myself in. And shockingly, I mean, apparently a lot of people also find themselves in those situations.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
so many songs written about it for a reason.
Yes, there are. Just slightly out of reach.
Well, that's something that comes with the honesty is people being able to relate. You know, that
Yeah,
ultimately
for sure.
is where the connection comes from. So your new EP, Never Yours, is such a personal, emotional journey. So I think you said that each track kind of represents a different feeling and left open to interpretation. So when you look at the project as a whole, what story do you feel it tells about where you are right now, not just as an artist, but as a person?
I think Never Yours kind of to me feels like this era of my life as like coming into myself as a woman. Like as like the transition from being, you know, like a naive teenage girl to then now having the experience and being able to like be aware of what's going on while it's happening. In my 20s is kind of the overall feeling and just like also like the process of getting into a never really like official relationship and just like dating at my age. I mean that was like the inspiration for the whole project. All the songs were kind of written throughout, you know, just my experiences. But yeah, kind of like that project starts at the beginning of a relationship that's never going anywhere. And then ends in a place where you're like, what? That didn't even that's such a little blip in my timeline.
Yeah.
Like it's not, but you know, in the moment when you're going through a breakup or any sort of intense feelings, it feels like it's like the end of the world.
It does.
And yeah, I think just kind of like capturing that arc and that feeling.
You've been very candid on several occasions. You've opened up about a past relationship with a UCLA football player who referred to as a friend boy, describing as a player and noting several red flags you overlooked. You mentioned learning that one small kind act doesn't cancel out repeated bad behavior. Do you feel you've grown past that dynamic and wouldn't fall into the similar pattern again, or?
Oh yeah, I mean that's something that like I feel like I am single right now because of the standards I have and like the things I will and will not accept.
Good for you.
Yeah, like I very much am past that point of being like, but I really like him, or like, but he did this thing. Like now it's like if you do something I don't like, okay, on to the next. Like it's just not something I waste my time in. And I take such pride in my, you know, my happiness and my feeling good and being able to get the validation I need for myself, that the second anyone else starts making me feel bad, I have no patience
Good
for that.
for you. Good for you. I want to hear a song about that.
Yeah. It's honestly that I've tried, and there are certain songs I've been trying to write that I've had a really hard time writing. It just never feels right. That's one of those things. And same with like writing a song about my friends and how much I love my friends.
Aww.
It's been such a hard thing to do. Cause like I truly do feel like my friendships are the light of my life, and like my friends are the loves of my life. And I have tried so many times to write a song about it. It's never felt right, or it's felt like cringy, or just I don't know. Haven't gotten it right yet.
It'll come to you. It will. And that's a beautiful statement for your friends to hear that, you know, because your friends, that's the salt of the earth. Salt of the earth, in my opinion.
How do you keep your creative compass pointed towards truth instead of trends?
Well, I think because I never really was going viral off of trends, that wasn't something that I ever felt like I had to adhere to. Like I was going viral because of my songs about myself. It's not necessarily adhering to the trends, but more of just like, now, you know, virality comes and goes, and the algorithm changes, and things change. So it's more like still being able to recognize that a song is good if it's not getting millions and millions of views on TikTok. You know, that's where I had a really hard time with at first. Like, I wouldn't release a song unless it did really, really well online. And I've kind of grown past that now.
Good for you.
But that was like that took a while, because, you know, we're getting so much external validation. It's an ego boost, and it's coming down from that high is really tough. But yeah, I think I'm out of that period and that cycle now, which is so nice. Thank God.
Well, so the second question, sort of the next follow-up question, is sort of obsolete. Do you ever second guess your instincts because of numbers, algorithms, and expectations?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because like I'll think a song is like the best song ever, and then I'll post it and it gets like 10 likes. And I'm like,
but you know what's amazing about that, though, because you are so honest, Andi, is that you're validating yourself with your own truth. With this is your truth and what you feel good about and what you're proud of and what you love. And although it's difficult as an artist, of course, because you want to get all those likes, you want to get all those hits, but the validation comes from the fact that you sit in it and know this is really good. This is really good. Because your writing really is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely like before I even post songs, like if I write, like the thing about doing sessions, is that a bad session will have me feeling like I can never write a good song again, and like I'm awful and it sucks, and it's the worst feeling not having a good session. But it happens all the time. You know, you're not having,
of course,
5 amazing sessions a week. At least I'm not. But the feeling of leaving a session, loving a song is like such a high. It's kind of that same feeling of the external high, like a video going viral. So before I even post a video, I normally have listened to the song already like 100 times and love it so much. And then it's up to, people, if they like it or not too.
For so long, we lived in a manufactured era where, I mean, you have singers now that are 60 years old that are singing a song that was picked for them when they were 18, and to still have to find a way to connect to it. So, you're in a whole different place where everything that your fan base loves about you is your authenticity. So what's something that you wish that that people knew about what it takes to make it in music today? I think that kind of comes off the heels of what I was saying, where we're coming out of a manufactured area where everybody's writing and doing what's truthful to them.
Oh God, what does it take? I wish I knew. I think again, like being authentic and trying different things is important, because you never know what is gonna be the thing, and you're 100 times more likely to succeed if you post 100 videos versus one. And so, like, I think a big reason, obviously this isn't the only reason, but a big reason that a lot of people don't succeed in any field is a lack of consistency and giving up. But like, it's understandable. It's really hard to keep going when you're not getting any sort of response, or like if you're trying something a million times, and it could be the 1,000,001 time that you finally get a good reaction, or like your moment. But I've just seen it happen so many times that people have been in music for so long and done it for so long, and they're like about to give up, and then they have their huge song and something amazing happens. So I think just really being consistent and not giving up is like the biggest thing. Because who is anyone to say if someone's music is good or not? Everyone has different tastes. It's very subjective. It's not that's not an objective thing. Like, what I like, other people won't like, and that's also fine. Like, realizing that my girl pop is not for everyone. People that are listening to hardcore rap all the time are probably not gonna like my songs, and that's totally fine. They don't need to. My songs are not for them.
Right. Speaking of which, who are some of the artists that you listen to today that you love and that you feel have inspired you or influenced your music?
Ariana Grande is like my favorite ever all time. What a voice. I love her. I think that's why I love her so much. Like, I'm a singer before I am a songwriter, and her voice has always just been a huge inspiration to me. As I've written more and become more of a songwriter, I have definitely branched out a lot into the country world of songwriting, because I think country writing, even though a lot of people say it's cringy and silly, like, that's kind of what I love about it. And there's a lot of like storytelling in country music.
I was just going to say,
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
Huge fan. That's what I have on in my car.
And so, I listen to a lot of country. I don't really write country music, but I do take a lot of inspiration from the storytelling of country music. But I kind of use that in more of a pop directed.
I can see that. I can see that with your.
I do love early Taylor Swift. That's like, I grew up on that. It's just, that was like my jam.
I do too.
And who else have I been listening to recently? God, I really jump all over the place. I don't really listen to a lot of the kind of music I write. Like, I listen to very different music, because I feel like if I'm listening to music that I'm going to write, it makes it harder to write. I don't know.
I understand that completely. I get that.
Yeah, like if I'm getting inspiration in other ways, it just feels more like natural and like real when I'm writing the songs.
Another artist that I really love is I love Rihanna. I love her voice. She's just awesome. She walks it like she talks it. She just does.
Yeah, she's awesome. I want her to release more music.
A lot of respect for her.
Yeah.
Well, Andi, we have reached the end of the show where we do the Significant 7. So it's the same 7 questions for every guest. Andi, are you ready for the Significant 7?
Yes.
If you had to choose one word that holds the most significance in your life, whether it defines you, guides you, or challenges you, what would it be and why?
I think love, because, that brings me the most joy, whether it's from my friends, my family, relationships, my love for music, my love for, doing my hobbies. It brings me the most joy, but it also, with loving someone or something or having a lot of love in you comes with, a high risk of experiencing like a loss of that, or experiencing, the fear of losing something. I think love is such an intense feeling, and it can be so overwhelming to have a lot of love for the people in your life and the things in your life that, you know, there's a chance you could lose it. But I think that that's a really huge part of my life is just, you know, loving what I'm doing, who I'm with, what I'm surrounded by, the heartbreak that comes from falling in love. Yeah, I think love.
And that's a beautiful answer. John Lennon coined it, love is it, and you know that for sure. You know?
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. What is the most significant piece of advice you have ever received?
I think my dad has a tattoo on himself, but it's not necessarily advice or I'm saying like it is what it is. I'm not one who dwells on things for a very long time. Like I'll experience the feelings I'm experiencing and then move past it. And it's like, but that person did you so wrong, or this person treated you so horribly. I'm like, yeah, they did, but like
Whatever.
it is what it is. I'm moving off my life. Yeah.
Right.
You know, you can't waste your one life and your energy on other people's lack of empathy and consideration. And you know, everyone's going through their own stuff. Like I think just realizing that not everything is about you and it never will be is important, and just, you know, moving on with your life and doing what's best for you.
So, you know, my favorite quote of all time, and I have it on my refrigerator, is what will you do with your one wild and precious life? Question mark. And that's it.
Yeah.
And it is. You can live in the past, or you can take the experience, grow from it, and move on.
Yeah.
You know?
Because like life isn't meant to be perfect.
No, it's very imperfect.
It isn't perfect, but how you look at it and like your mindset is what makes it enjoyable and makes, you know, the tough parts of life important.
Right.
Like experiencing the shitty parts are what makes it life.
Well, how can you experience true joy if you don't experience abject pain?
Yeah.
There's a yin in it. Yeah. There's a yin and a yang to it. There's a dark and a light.
For sure.
So what is the most significant risk you've ever taken? I think I know the answer to that question.
Yeah, probably moving to LA to pursue my dreams.
Yeah, well, at age 16.
Yeah, definitely.
At age 16.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest risk.
Okay. And what is the most significant life lesson that you've ever learned?
I mean, it's just kind of like really basic, but like you only have one life and it is limited and like it could end tomorrow. And just being like aware and actively acknowledging that, you know, you're 1 in a billion of chance of being on this earth is right now. And like we're so lucky to be here. And I think just, I don't know, taking every day with like gratitude and joy and like trying to make the most out of it while also giving yourself like chances to rest. But yeah, again, I think I might just go back to the whole friend thing though. Like your friends are like the most important people in your life. And yeah, I don't know, just being gracious and grateful and trying to experience joy in life.
Words of wisdom.
Wherever you can.
Yep. This is not a dress rehearsal. What significant moment in your life changed how you see the world?
I think, honestly, was probably my friend losing a parent really changed my mindset and just on life. And again, like being back to what I just said, like experiencing every day like it could be your last.
Being present.
Yeah, and just being, you know, grateful. Like I know I keep saying it, I sound like a broken record, but like my friends and I are always talking about how lucky we are to have found each other and to be here and experiencing life together. And like
it's very true. And you also strike me the type of person that you have tremendous empathy for everything going on around you. So I'm sure with a friend's loss of a parent, you could only imagine what you would feel like in that situation with your own parents. Yeah. So
it's
empathy is just that's a big part of my life.
Yeah.
So what significant relationship has shaped you the most, do you think?
I think probably my mom and I's relationship and my dad. Like my dad's like my biggest cheerleader and everything, but my mom, obviously my mom's, you know, a girl and she's hearing about things that my dad's not necessarily hearing about. But yeah, probably, I mean, I call my parents for everything. Like if I ever have any questions or I don't know what to do, like they're the first people I call. So I would say both my parents. It's just in different ways.
What is the most significant truth that you've come to understand about yourself?
I think that like, yeah, my energy and my, I don't know, zest for life is something to be really proud of. And not everyone has that, and sharing that wherever I can is important because it can really, you are who you surround yourself with. And like, not to toot my own horn, but like, I'm very, proud of my outlook on life. And I think I've directly seen that impact my friends and vice versa with them. Like they excel in areas that I don't and make me better in that way. But I think, yeah, just not being shameful of my energy and my excitedness for life, and yeah, not being ashamed to be like excited about things. Because I get very excited about a lot of things, and a lot of people will be like, oh, like relax, or like, I don't know, shame you for being happy and excited about things. And I just don't.
You
yeah,
don't subscribe
really
to it. And your honesty, her honesty as well. I love that. I think that's a big part of who you are, which is beautiful.
If we had a drinking game with the word honest, I think, yeah,
we'd be drunk.
we mentioned that word quite a lot today.
Yeah.
So, Andi, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by the
Thank you so
Significance,
much.
and we can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thank you.
We'll definitely be telling everybody where they can keep in touch if they already aren't following you and everything.
Thank you, yeah.
All our best, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.